Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here today with a daily coin analysis on the graph. This is a extremely bullish project, one of the most bullish projects lately. The graph is a protocol that indexes and queries the blockchain. And the overall FA on it is just incredibly good. This is extremely hyped. There are a few other projects that are coming out that are going to try to be competitors, but this one is definitely really strong. So let's go into the technical analysis. I mean, heck, if you bought at the bottom in middle of January, you were up like 10% at the peak, which is obviously incredible. I'm sure there are many people that did this as well. So there's really not too much TA you can do in these massive parabolic runs. I mean, this kind of looks like alpha a little bit. Initial big run up from the listing. This is pretty common, and this is usually when you see a lot of hype from these initial listings. And many coins do this initially, and then they'll go really high up, and then they'll pull back for a long period of time. And what we saw here for the graph was this long pullback. Let's see what it looks like on the fib. So it looks like this overall 618 level was fairly the bottom. I mean, it did deviate underneath a little bit right here. It deviated a little bit underneath there, but overall it's still, the 618 fib held pretty well. And then it just started to run. I mean, this kind of was a accumulation period right here where we saw the graph range. And these are the coins that I really focused on in general. And this ranging period was really not much. I mean, it was about 2 weeks or so where it ranged, or maybe a little more, I'm sorry. Yeah, still about 2 weeks, it's still just ranged. And this is usually in the context of the overall market environment. Generally, when you see coins ranging like this, it's going to be a very bullish thing when every other altcoin is popping off, and this one just ranges. We're seeing these types of coins do very well right now, like DOT and VeChain, Theta, tons of other coins. And even the coins that were running really hard before, like Algorand, is still really running very hard as well. So in general, these are the coins that I'm focusing on. The graph obviously is maybe a different animal in itself, just because this thing is so bullish in the last several days. And let's just see. So obviously this initial swing high from the initial listing back in the late December, this acted as a temporary SR area, and you can see price. I mean, there's probably some smaller levels here that you can find on lower time frames, and this area was resistance on the first tap, and that's usually pretty common when you see price hitting initial peak, retracing for a while, accumulating, grinding up. You're almost always going to see some sort of reaction in these situations when price first comes to that level. Now, the pullback itself, it will depend heavily on the overall market environment and the market structure. But generally speaking, first test, best test, as Crypto Cred likes to say. There's several reasons for that. Number one, these orders are still going to be there, or other sellers are going to see this as a natural resistance area and take this initial short. And generally speaking, this will have a first reaction. And these are usually pretty high profitable shorts. It depends on the levels that you decide to short, of course. You could have maybe tried to short up here or even a little higher. Of course, if you did leave your orders in and price looked the way it did right here, this is generally not going to be very good for you. I mean, you generally see price establishing higher lows and consolidating at resistance. When price takes this much time, it takes a week to grind up in a very bullish environment, that's when it's very scary to short in this situation. So Generally speaking, I would not have shorted, but then again, I generally trade with a trend as well. I don't personally like shorting in these environments. I'm not a good enough trader for that particularly. But that's not saying it's not profitable. There are certainly very profitable shorts, shorting opportunities, and right now, this is how you might have taken one right here. But after the last few days, I mean, the graph has just looked absolutely parabolic. I mean, absolutely parabolic. Let's see, I mean, it's gone. So it's 2x over the last few days, and when price just shoots up like this, it's usually very hard to get an entry. I tried getting an entry lower. Usually, generally speaking, these types of bull flag patterns are really the only type of retest that you are going to get. And it's doing it again now. You'll just basically see run, bull flag, run, bull flag, and it'll just keep going until price starts to get exhausted, until you see buyers kind of tiring out, and then you see a lot of sellers stepping in which case you'll start to see deeper pullbacks, in which case you'll want to start buying some of these lower pullbacks. And these are when Fibonacci levels are really profitable for me personally. And these are my personal best setups as well when price starts to pull back. But anyways, I don't know where price is going to stop here. $3 would make a lot of sense from a psychological level, but price is already hanging around this. I mean, it already wicked up several times to the 290 area. So $3 seems inevitable here, whether it's going to be the top or or if that's just going to keep going higher. I honestly have no idea. I mean, this just is still very parabolic. And as I said before, when stuff is very parabolic, it's very hard to catch entries. You'll just want to buy basically any dip or any consolidation. Now, am I saying to buy right here? I can't personally say myself. I'm going to keep an eye on lower time frame charts. I mean, generally speaking, you'll want to look at the sell volume, and you'll want to basically see some ugly wick closes for price. And these are fairly neutral given the context of the chart. I mean, when it wicks up like this, no, it's not necessarily bullish, but those wicks are taking out the sellers. So you absolutely can't call this bearish yet. I don't know when the pullback will happen or when it'll happen. Usually what you'll see here in these situations is price kind of hanging out, and then it's going to start to grind down a little bit, and then it's basically going to start to form a range. So again, I don't know where this will stop, but this is very very common in general for super bullish coins. So let's take a look at Alpha. Alpha is a coin that had a similar parabolic run, and right now it is going through this same type of price action that I just described. You saw it have this massive run. I mean, here's the overall chart of it. I mean, this is kind of similar to Graph 2, where it went almost 20x or whatever, but from the bottom. But in general, what you're seeing after these huge runs, and FTM is another phantom, where price is basically just going to cool off in range. And this is kind of what I'm expecting to see for GRT whenever it decides to finish its run. It's not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily going to go very far down, but I expect to see just a long ranging consolidation. So what you want to basically look for in these ranging consolidation setups is you want to look for, you can use a lot of other indicators too. I mean, EMAs are great. You can see price compressing and tightening up. When you see all these EMAs starting to clump together, this is good and healthy for price basically to cool off and to consolidate. And this is still bullish in general, in my opinion. I don't necessarily think this run is necessarily ended for Alpha, and the same is going to be said for GRT. I would not be surprised at all whenever it decides to finish its little mini run here. We are going to see, in my opinion, some sort of consolidation period where it just hangs out for 1 to 2 or 3 or whatever weeks. and get ready for the next run. And we also saw that for something like DOT. This is another example here. DOT had its big run here, all the way from $5 to $20, 4x'd, and then it hung out for a good... It hung out for a few weeks. Looks like, 2.5 weeks or so. And again, it depends on the context of the market right now, because everything is looking so good for altcoins, and you see a price ranging like this. This is very bullish, generally speaking. You're not going to. I don't think you're generally going to see price just distributing at this point, like after it hangs out. It's going to get ready to go for a run. And so anyways, that's what I expect for GRT. I expect GRT, whenever it's done with this run, I don't know if it's going to be $3. I don't know if it's going to be $4. I don't know if it's going to be $5. It could be this. When crypto coins run, they can run very, very, very hard. And I don't necessarily see any signs of reversal quite yet personally. I'm still basically eyeing sell volume. I'm eyeing candle closes. I'm eyeing overall market context too. If Bitcoin starts to pull back heavily, then we are going to see altcoins follow from the USD pair, in my opinion. So where can I find GRT to basically go to? I honestly have no idea. I mean, if this went to $5, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. If it doubled in price, that's entirely possible. It could go to fucking $10. Who knows? I mean, this thing, again, when stuff goes very parabolic, it's hard to tell where the top is going to be. Once it has its first significant dip, I'll be able to do a Fibonacci extension and give a little more accurate price targets. But for now, I mean, doing a Fib extension right now, like as it stands, it's a little difficult. Like I could use this last dip here. And these would like be the next targets up, I guess, so to speak, like $3 right here, like 1.272 is the next extension. And that's entirely possible, of course. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to kind of basically wait until like the next quote unquote big dip, so to speak. But as for Graph USD, I'm still bullish on this. I think that most alt USD pairs are going to be bullish as long as Bitcoin is bullish too. So once Bitcoin starts pulling back huge, that's when you're going to have to be careful with alt USD pairs. And I'm not exactly sure. I thought that Bitcoin would cool off a little bit, but so far it has not. So let's just see. Overall, still bullish on Graph. $3 is the next up level. Again, would not surprise me at all to see this go to like $5 or something like that. So let's look at the BTC pair. Again, same parabolic activity. As I wrote today in tweets as well, if you can see price being in price discovery on one coin but not price discovery in the other, sometimes you can use one pair to use your SR levels. It doesn't necessarily apply in this circumstance though, because both pairs are in price discovery, and these charts are going to be pretty matching in general. I remember the Alpha USD and the Alpha Bitcoin chart both looked pretty similar in general. And only when Bitcoin started to really pump, that's when the charts diverged, because obviously alt USD pairs generally go lower when Bitcoin is strong, and the alt USD pairs go up. So because Graph is looking just so bullish, I mean, here are some of my levels in general. I think I had, okay, so it's 30-minute close in general, and this is price just wicking up. We are seeing some heavier sell volume overall, but I mean, this is still a very bullish trend. Can't necessarily call this bearish or distribution yet. If Bitcoin does rip up very high, then I would expect most altcoins to go lower. However, because the Graph is so bullish right now, this just might continue to ping pong between these areas if Bitcoin is strong. And if Bitcoin is up maybe like 2%, then I wouldn't be surprised if this just continues up and outperforms Bitcoin. I mean, this has certainly outperformed Bitcoin the last few days, and there's no reason to necessarily think that that is going to end. If Bitcoin does go really strong though, then I would expect some of these lower levels to get tapped. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all to see like this area tapped, this like 5,000 Satoshis area, or there are probably some smaller levels as well. Like if you really scale down, there's like a tiny demand level right there, and there's also demand as well in the 4,000 Satoshis area as well. But overall, with the graph, I think you just have to keep buying dips, and you're basically, if you're trading in the USD pair, you're basically just buying dips until this basically stalls out. Once it stalls out, expect it to just basically range for a while, similar to Alpha or Dot, before getting in. So my plan would personally be to keep trying to buy dips as it stands now. But once I start to see the trend cooling down, you're going to basically look for price to hit a big move and then slowly grind down, find some support wherever that might be, you know, and then start to range. And you're going to see that a lot for a lot of different coins too. And once it ranges, that's at the point where you can take your money and throw it into another altcoin from an opportunity cost standpoint. That's entirely like a decent move in my opinion. And then just get back into GRT or Alpha or whatever coin is ranging after maybe like a week or something like that. Or just buy like the range low and then just kind of let it chill. It depends on your trading strategy, of course. But yeah, in general, the graph is a highly bullish coin. I think that you guys should consider some exposure to it. I'm looking to buy some dips, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Good luck.